Leo's insights are presented to challenge, inform, and encourage you in your quest to break free from school-based approaches to education. Building upon a foundation of unschooling, we sincerely hope these insights help you to consider how education can be truly unlimited.
Once Matthew had passed his mock entrance exam, I instructed, no, I demanded that he immediately make an appointment to write the real thing at the nearest trade office as soon as possible. The next day, when we returned from our day of facilitation, I did not even have time to remove my boots before Matthew informed me that he, Matthew, had booked a time to write his apprentice entrance exam. This was seen as no small miracle. I felt like a proud dad. Not that Matthew's parents were not proud, but I think they were still in shock after having witnessed the amazing transformation of Matthew's near morbid fear of failing into a never before seen bring it on attitude. I still get goosebumps thinking about the miraculous transition from the defeated Matthew to the one so victorious it was contagious. What was the key? What was it that was said or done to initiate this miraculous event? Well, there are two things that come to mind. For starters, even though Matthew undoubtedly knew he was different, no one made a big deal about it. He knew he had intrinsic value, as he was. He was never introduced as having this or that, as though what made him different was pathogenic. Nobody cited scientific studies on his condition or purchased tools or programs from experts in order to fix him. He was who he was, valued as such, and everyone accepted that. However, there was still something else that he needed, something that is often missed when encouraging children to take control of their lives. Now, in no way am I accusing Matthew's parents or family of failure. Indeed, the only reason I was able to push that button, so to speak, was that Matthew had been reassured 1,000 times of his intrinsic value and worthiness as a son, brother, and friend. Parents need to understand that there are two major things that every child, actually every person, requires to be successful in life, and they are not education and or money. These two things are so important that they often determine the very direction taken in life. Indeed, whenever listening to people talk about their life history, most will reference these two things as the reason for their success and, unfortunately, also often for their failures. The first thing needed can be accurately described as a father's number one responsibility. Everyone needs to be validated as being loved and appreciated and having intrinsic worth. We have all heard or seen folks who have not gotten this from their dad, and most of these stories will break your heart. However, even though validation is critical, there is one more thing that often separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Even validated people need someone to believe in them. We can refer to this as a form of secondary validation or more appropriately, affirmation. This is different from being validated as a worthy individual. It is more about being assured or reassured about one's future direction. Anyone can be used of God to say, I believe in you, or I believe you can do this. There's no doubt that this most often comes from parents, but for some reason, this seems to need additional confirmation from someone outside the family. Perhaps it is the familiarity of family members that disqualifies them from playing this role. Parents, after all, usually believe in their children no matter what, rightly or not, outsiders are seen as more objective and therefore more honest. That was the simple part I got to play in Matthew's life. I have no doubt. Actually, I'm convinced, because we shared so much time with Matthew's family, that he had been validated by his dad, and that his entire family did believe in him. But I also believe Matthew's condition prevented many from saying so. Perhaps they were not entirely convinced and just did not want to set him up for failure or disappointment. Again, I'm not in any way suggesting Matthew's family did not believe in him or failed him in any way. They loved him and did not want to see him hurt. In any case, I knew what it was like to be learning challenged, to be seen as different or in a negative or derogatory way. Again, I'm not accusing anyone of this. Even though I doubt Matthew knew the name or title of his disability, I'm sure that he knew he was different by the way people reacted to him. This is not an indictment against his family, friends, or neighbors, but a statement against the systemic treatment of anyone who does not feel or fulfill external standardized expectations. The secular belief of human origin and value have polluted most people's perspective, including those who subscribe to a Christian worldview. We have largely adopted the sentiment that there is something wrong with this person, in place of a more appropriate, this person is a creation of God and therefore valuable. When we come to believe that there is something wrong, we look to outside agencies to fix the misfits, to make them fit a standardized expectation of what a normal human being should look like, rather than unreservedly accepting what God has created and that He will show them their purpose. This is what causes us to miss the lesson of the gospel. My modified version of the Bible says that while we were yet imperfect, Christ died for us. We are all imperfect. So there's something wrong with each one of us. Do we all need fixing? Matthew was certainly different, yet no different in this respect. I wholly believe that God does not make mistakes, and I trust that the Creator does not abandon anyone. My believing this caused me to see through Matthew's issues and allowed me to believe in him. All I did is sincerely voice what those who loved him believed, but had failed to tell him. I made Matthew promise he would phone me as soon as he received his examination results. A few weeks later, I received the most cryptic phone call of my life. The phone rang, and as I answered it, I did not receive a hello or a how are you. Without introduction or fanfare, all I heard was, I passed. Matthew, the one many thought would never make it past the gate, had kicked the gate open. Unparalleled joy emanating from both of us, indeed all of us. Oh, what sweet victory. However, unbeknownst to us, Matthew had another big hurdle to overcome. It was not an obstacle placed by his inabilities, but by systemic hang-ups, assumptions, and outright stupidity. I'll get to this one next week.
We trust you were blessed by today's presentation. For more helpful information to guide you in your home education journey, please visit educationunlimited.ca and leogaumont.com. Be sure to like us and share us on Facebook.